Hey everyone, we're at Thrive Well podcast with Nich Kristock with Fleece and Thank You. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
I would love if you could introduce yourself, Nich, from Fleece and Thank You, but I want to go further into your background. So let's just introduce who you are today, what you're doing today, and then I'll go from there and ask you some questions.
Cool. Love it.
Okay.
My name is Nich Kristock. I'm the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called Fleece and Thank You. We serve every children's hospital in the state of Michigan with a consistent supply of fleece blankets for all their pediatric inpatients. And every blanket carries a video message from the person that made it to the patient that receives it. That patient can send a message back to the blanket maker. And we try to do that 30,000 times a year.
30,000 times. That's amazing. So I know in our walkthrough of the video that we did prior, we talked about that moment where your sister asked you to help out with a blanket. But what had you take making a blanket and finding out that other hospitals needed blankets as well for children to the scale in which you have this nonprofit today?
It is 100% me being aggressively curious. And even just before we started recording, I was asking you a bazillion questions.
Yeah.
Because I just love, there's so much we don't know. So when my sister first texted me and just said, hey, can you make a blanket for this patient that I have? My response was, yeah, but how many do you need? How many patients do you have? How many blankets do you need? How many does the hospital need? Is it one? Is it 5? Is it 10? Because I can make a couple. And she said, well, we actually need a lot. I don't know how many, but here's the number of the person to call. So I called the head of Mott and said, how many blankets do you need? How many kids do you see every year? Oh, about 10,000 kids. Oh, okay. Wow. That's a lot of blankets.
Yeah.
This is one of the best children's hospitals in the country telling me they don't ever have enough of something they need and that their patients want every time. So I just picked up the phone and called every hospital and asked the same questions. If I can be good at anything, I'll be good at asking the right questions or any questions. And everyone gave me the same answers. Always need blankets, change the room. We never have enough. Took every hospital, added it up. 30,000 kids a year go in, 30,000 blankets a year was the goal.
How many hospitals?
We're in 22 different hospitals and health systems across Michigan today.
Wow. So 30,000 blankets is the goal. Is that this year's goal?
That is our annual goal. Approximately every year, 30,000 kids under the age of 18 will go into a hospital and have to stay at least one night. From a cold to a broken leg to a battle with cancer. They're admitted as an inpatient. It's not their bed, not their sheets, not their room, not their environment. That's who we want to be there for first and foremost. And that happens 30,000 times a year.
Wow. What would you say in working this nonprofit and being aggressively curious, what have you found has been the most challenging to overcome?
It's very challenging to, people are beautiful and brilliant and come in all different, types. And it takes a village to get to 30,000 blankets. It takes truly a village. On average, 8 to 10 people will touch every blanket that goes through our process, from raw material to hospital bed. So you're talking about 80 to 150,000 people a year that experience our process. And it's just making sure we stay very consistent in the way that we message and interact with everyone throughout that process. Because if we can do that, we can deliver a quality first-class experience to the patients in the hospital, which is what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, visiting your warehouse and seeing some of the folks you're talking about that package up the blankets. And there's so many steps. You have to sanitize them. You have to put them in that wrap. What had you go through the process of saying, there's particular people I actually want to work with?
I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So when I saw the initial problem, it was never going to be good enough for us to just say, let's make a couple blankets. It was cool. There's a destination, there's an end goal here. How do we get there? 30,000? Great. Awesome. What's the system have to look like to get there? Part of that system is, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that you have to do with raw materials and cutting them and matching them together and heat pressing a patch. And as we looked at the first phase of that, we said, well, cool, there's a lot of simple, repeatable tasks here. I had done some work in the past with young adults who suffered from different forms of cognitive or physical impairments and knew the tremendous benefit of simple, repeatable tasks on their learning journey and just matched up 2 easy wins. Cool. Like, let's reach out to 5 or 6 local nonprofits that serve young adults or adults with different cognitive or physical impairments. And let's see if the tasks at our back end match up with what they're looking for already in workforce development. And it's been a win for now 7 years.
Wow, 7 years. Okay. Now, when did you come to that idea when you started Fleece and Thank You?
It's like 2 months in, probably.
Immediately. I was going to...
Right away.
Because I remember that 7-year marker when we were talking. It was immediate.
Right away. Truly, I wanted to line up selfishly my 3 biggest passions in life, which was serving kids in the hospital, serving humans with cognitive or physical impairments, and serving our homeless friends on the street. And so it was cool. A blanket operation to comfort kids. Can we use the middle pillar of young adults and adults to help with the back end of that? And for sure, the 3rd tier will be a future goal, but I want to take all the scraps from all the blankets and make waterproof pillowcases, easily stuff those pillowcases, and then give them out to homeless friends on the street who, I was able to do some cool work in Australia working with the homeless population, and a waterproof pillow would be a crazy, crazy difference. And there's not anyone in that space right now. So I think there's a potential there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when do you foresee that being something that's actually alive and breathing?
As soon as I find someone to make a waterproof pillowcase.
Okay.
We've got the scraps. We collect scraps and they're busting out of our ears. We just need to figure out who can quickly and easily make just a zippable piece of plastic that we can just shove excess scraps in. And then we've definitely got nonprofit partners that I know could get those distributed to the places they need to be.
So we're looking for a manufacturer of a zippable or some sort of waterproof casing for a pillow.
You got it.
Amazing. Okay. There has to be companies out there.
They're out there.
Right now.
They're out there.
Like the camping world of
They're out there.
Multiple countries. They're out there. All right. When you are looking at collaborating with other organizations or stakeholders, what is it that causes you to choose certain parties to work with? Do you vet the parties you're working with? Or are you just saying, hey, the more the merrier, and the more love we can spread around? Fantastic.
I'm very strategic for sure, but it's really important to me to learn from a prospective partner, like what is winning for you? And let's be very clear with each other. Like, what are your business objectives? And what are the audiences you want to get in front of? And what does like winning look like for getting in front of that audience? And are we already working with that audience? And can we make a mutual win here? So I always really try my hardest to take it above and beyond just the goodwill piece, because I know that that is for sure a great box to check and a worthy one. But I think with philanthropy, we owe it to the businesses we partner with to be the next level strategic with them. Because the reality is, if we can put a business that we're partnering with in front of the audience they want to be with, and it drives the KPIs that they want to drive, that's going to be a relationship for a long time.
Exactly. They can continue to give back. I love that. That's amazing. What advice would you give to individuals looking to start their own nonprofit?
I actually gave a TED Talk answering this question.
Oh.
It is called How to Build a Business to Solve a Problem. And I give, from my experience, the 10 steps to building a business to solve a problem.
Amazing.
The first step is to live the problem. In the philanthropic world, it is a very tough, long road. And if you haven't gone and faced that problem in the face and felt it, when you get to that first obstacle, it's going to be very easy to say, maybe somebody else should solve this problem. Maybe I wasn't the right person to do this. But if you felt the pain, you'll be able to erase all doubt that this is something that you can solve. So first step is live the problem. And then there's, 9 other steps from there.
Then there's 9 other steps. Go visit the TED Talk.
Yeah.
All right. So say the title of that TED Talk again, please.
It's How to Build a Business to Solve a Problem.
Awesome. Go check that out, everybody. Where do you see Fleece and Thank You in the future?
Rowing towards 30,000 blankets in Michigan is our supreme focus right now, and we're closer than ever, right around 20,000 blankets a year.
Okay.
So we've got the system, the process, we've put in the hard yards, and we've got a really replicable system to get to 30,000. From there, that comforts Michigan. We'll take that playbook and apply that to the Midwest. The Midwest needs about 151,000 blankets to comfort every patient. We'll take that regional model, go region by region until it's countrywide, which needs about 964,000 blankets for 964,000 kids that go into the hospital. So we are on a path with a very clear line of sight to a replicable model in every state, so that every child, every state, every time, guaranteed as it is that the sun will rise tomorrow and your garbage will get picked up on Fridays, that when a patient goes in, your son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandkids, there will be a blanket waiting on the bed for them with a message from the person that made it.
Incredible. Now, have you had people ask you to launch this outside of state lines? I would imagine so. Yeah, I'd imagine when someone catches wind of this, of saying, well, how do we do this where I'm at?
And when March of 20 came, we were previous to that an all in-person event charity, delivering handmade goods to hospitals. And two of the first things to go were in-person events and handmade goods to hospitals. So everyone was looking at us like, is this thing just going to completely tank at this point?
Sure.
How on earth will they survive? By April 20th, we had stood up an e-commerce website and started digital marketing. We were starting to get hundreds of orders a week in through that website. We now get orders from all across the country. We've delivered in almost every state in the United States and 14 countries around the world with our comfort, because we were able to scale the messaging and the vision. And so consistent effort happens in Michigan, but we're constantly getting orders from other states. 80% of those come back to Michigan, get delivered here. 20% when T-Mobile's C-level team calls us up to make blankets in Seattle, they might want to donate to Seattle Children's Hospital. We can link the two up. Great. Those blankets stay local. If not, they'll come back to us.
What is it that we can tell people that I haven't asked about the work you're doing?
Well, a really cool part of what we do at Fleece and Thank You is about a year ago, we started making some t-shirts that said Grateful Human on them. And we just did a very small run in a small pop-up shop at Somerset Mall, and they sold out in like a week. And so then Somerset called and said, hey, can we get more? So we put more, and then they sold out again. And it sold out 4 times over the November, December timeframe. We said, okay, maybe there's something here. So we started the Grateful Human brand. It is an extension of Fleece and Thank You. So 100% of the proceeds go right back to the core mission of comforting kids. And we're having a lot of fun with that. With hoodies and crew necks and t-shirts and beanies and all that. So that's a part that a lot of people don't know yet, because it's newer for us on the e-commerce digital side. But an easy way to support for someone who says, cool, I vibe with grateful, and I would love to have that on a shirt, and it also can support what we do. Outside of that, we're always looking for blanket makers. 30,000 is a lot of blankets. So we need the family that does it once a year at Thanksgiving to the corporation that says, cool, this is going to be an annual event for us. We can just start to stack that recurring support up to get to that 30,000 and comfort every kid.
And just repeat, right? Well, you heard it here. You got to sign up to do this, you guys. I have a Grateful Human sweatshirt. Bought one when I was there.
Right on.
Gave me a hat. My son wears the hat almost daily.
Awesome.
I think Rye has a hat, which is awesome. We love it. I wear it to the gym all the time. I have to tell you, every time I wear it, someone comes up to me and is like, what is that? And then they see Fleece and Thank You. And I am floored at the amount of people that recognize the brand and the mission. They're fully aware. So
I appreciate that.
Really, really cool.
I appreciate that. It speaks to how gratitude is such a universal concept. And there's something really interesting about it, that gratitude can't really exist where fear or anger exist. And it's a muscle for sure. And we have a Grateful Human podcast where we try to break down gratitude with everyone that we bring on it. You're going to be a future guest on this podcast. But we're really trying to unlock, like, what is the secret? Like, what are the ingredients to this thing? And the more people that we talk to, and it's hundreds of episodes at this point, it's like, it is a muscle. You have to be intentional. You have to flex it when you feel scared, nervous, uncertain.
Yes.
But if you do, it has this amazing ability to just overtake all of those negative feelings. And it's really, really special.
It's transformative, without a doubt. I don't know if I shared with you, because I know we spoke about the grateful mindset and everything behind that when we were there. We open every meeting, from executive to our sales meetings, with gratitude.
I love that.
So whether it's share some good news in your life or shout out a gratitude for your peer, I believe setting that tone before you get into business is something that just changes the atmosphere completely. So So
amazing.
yeah, we have a challenge going on right now that leads into that. Every Friday we prompt a gratitude prompt. Like, where are you at in this journey of this challenge? What have you learned? How are you feeling? And it is one of the biggest things in this 5-week challenge that people have said that Friday post has just shifted my whole thoughts on that day alone. I go into the weekend being like, oh my gosh, I get to work with these people. They've got great mindsets going on. And so couldn't agree more, and look forward to being on that podcast.
Awesome.
Is Fleece and Thank You something that you're able to rally the onesie twosie neighbor up and do? Is that something that is possible that you're having happen, or is it more often larger groups that are going towards this?
All the above, for sure. I mean, corporations are definitely the biggest vertical for us because they're doing 100 to 1,000 type blanket events. But it's also, we get a very large amount of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 blanket orders for sure. Okay. I was wearing my Grateful Human hat on a walk a couple weeks ago. One of my neighbors saw it, went on the website, ordered some kits and some Grateful Human swag. And it's like, we need it all. We need it all because 30,000 is a big number.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, 30,000 is a big number, and that's an incredible achievement, but you're working with a 10,000 delta right now. Yeah. So we're looking to fill 20 to 30, not up to 30, right? Which is, I feel like that's a little easier to swallow right now.
100%. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, and companies we work with, like, we don't need your company to make 20,000 blankets this year. We just need you to make 100, and we need you to just commit to 100 every year. And I'll go find 200 more companies to each do their 100 blankets, and together we rise. So that's definitely village mindset.
Yes, together we rise. I love that village mindset. That's where Thrive Social Project comes into. It was that village mentality of how can we gain more exposure for other local businesses and local entrepreneurs, which brings me to our goal was to have 52 local business owners within a 50-mile radius of us at Thrive, and be in alignment of our core culture, our belief system here. And so we are going to reach out to them for the event that we're doing.
Amazing.
It's just another drop in the can. Hopefully we can make a tiny dent. That's what we're looking to do.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. So you've talked about Grateful Human gear and how to get at the blankets and help with that. How can people find you?
Easiest place, fleeceandthankyou.org is our main website for Fleece and Thank You. There's a big yellow order kits button in the top corner. You can try us out. Gratefulhuman.co.co for the Grateful Human side of things. Those are the two main places. We're on all the socials at Fleece and Thank You or at We Are Grateful Humans.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.